Hi, it's Ian, and welcome back to my 30 Days of Taiko Skills. Today is day 19, and I'm talking about cross-sticking. Cross-sticking is something that I've brought over from my drum set playing background to playing Taiko, and there's a few different ways that we can approach playing this. It does work for all sorts of different size drums, um, and the idea with cross-sticking is in the drum set application, usually it's on the snare drum, where instead of playing a regular snare drum hit, the left hand comes down. You place the left hand on the head and you just lift up the tip and then hit it against the snare drum metal rim, which is raised. So there is slight mechanical difference between a taiko head, which does not have a raised rim. It's completely flat versus a snare drum, which is typically has a raised metal or wooden rim. So that brings a few differences, but basically the idea is the same, I think. So there's, I guess the simplest one to start out with would be just holding it the way, holding the stick the way I would do it for snare drum cross stick. I've heard it also being called as rim click. So the back of the stick and the heel of the hand or the wrist portion, they both stay in contact as you lift, and then you just bring it down like this. So typically this is a muted sound. In this case, I'm keeping my fingers down as I hit it so that I get a muted tone when I hit it. Versus this. So whatever you like is, of course, totally fine, but in general, I probably use the muted one more. There's a difference, of course, in where the stick is on the head. So if I move it around, you'll hear a difference like this. Okay, a lot of different kind of possibilities of sounds. There's another one that is a variation where you lift the whole stick and then bring it down. I would use that if I'm trying to get a louder cross stick sound. So there's a limitation on how high you can lift if you're still keeping the end of the stick and your wrist on the head, on the upstroke, like this. But of course, if you can get it higher up in the air, you can get a louder sound. So we just have to be careful not to have our fingers underneath the stick, because you could easily pinch them against either the head or even worse against the wooden rim. So the way you want to hold it is to make sure you're careful here so that you're holding it on the side and there's no fingers or thumb below. Okay, that's the two, I think, main categories of cross sticking. Either the entire stick comes up, or you keep it. This is closer to the drum set style, where you keep the end of the stick and the wrist portion down. So, of course, the other hand could be playing various things on various parts of the drum or on a different drum. I tend not to have two cross sticks going at the same time like this, although we could do something like this. Totally valid. It's not something that I tend to do. I normally have, just like on a drum set, where my right hand would be either on a cymbal or a hi-hat, or a rim or something like that, cowbell. I tend to have the right hand doing something else. So maybe I'll just play around a little bit, improvise, and see how I might use this cross stick on this drum. Something like that. So I would probably normally spend a little bit more time exploring different ideas. That was just a kind of impromptu exploration of how this drum sounds in this room right now, um, and trying to use as many different types of cross stick as possible. So it's it has some interesting applications, I think, for not just soloing but creating parts on Taiko. You could write your own original music using some of these different types of non normal, let's say, uncommon sounds, and take inspiration from other places such as drum set or other kinds of percussion that's non taiko based, and try to incorporate them and see if it works for you and see if you can come up with something that's interesting and inspiring for yourself. So that was a little bit about cross sticking. Hope there's something useful there for you, and I'll see you in the next one.